South Carolina is ready to get back on the court. They have lost 2 of their last 3 games, but ready to flush it and move on as they welcome in Arkansas tonight. On Sunday, UConn snapped South Carolina's 71-game home winning streak, but looking to start a new streak tonight here inside Colonial Life. Let's go, Quinn Lyle, alongside national championship winning head coach Carolyn Peck. And speaking of championships, is this South Carolina team still able to win a title?
I think they are, if they learn from what they did against Connecticut or what they didn't do. This is a team that no longer has a dominant center inside, so they've got to win in different ways. 1, they've got to continue to defend. 2, they've got to be able to recognize and be disciplined with their shot selection. And last but not least, they've got to finish their layups inside.
And you take a look at the SEC, South Carolina right behind Texas in the SEC standings. If the Gamecocks win out, they get at least a share of the regular season title.
That's not going to be a walk in the park because they still have to go to Vanderbilt. They've got to go to Ole Miss, and then Kentucky will play here. And Kentucky is a team that shoots the ball very well from the three-point line.
Now, this South Carolina program has dominated the SEC, 8 regular season and 8 tournament titles since 2013. They've also had 7 SEC Player of the Year awards coming to South Carolina. Tonight, they've got to shut down the SEC's leading scorer in Izzy Higginbottom.
That's going to be a full-time job. Not many people have been able to do it. Izzy Higginbottom is one of the best at being able to create, produce points, and specifically get to the free throw line.
South Carolina ready to turn the page. Last time in this building on Sunday, their biggest home loss since 2008. What are you looking for early to see that the Gamecocks are back on track?
Well, looking to see if they are very disciplined with their shot selection. I think that Connecticut got South Carolina sped up, and they got out of character on the offensive end.
Christina Sanchez will get the rebound for this Arkansas team. An Arkansas starting 5 that has seen some rotation. Kiki Smith not in the starting lineup, but she will be available for Arkansas tonight. She's missed the last 5 games with an ankle injury.
Having Kiki Smith back and available, that is the only other Arkansas player that is averaging double figures.
Here's Izzy Higginbottom, number 3 in that Cardinal jersey for Arkansas. This will stay with the Razorbacks. Now, South Carolina talking to Tahina Paopao, talking to Dawn Staley, felt like they had some really good days of practice.
Well, and I think that a lot of that came from the really come to Jesus meeting that they had as a team. They were honest with each other, but Paopao took a lot of accountability. She said she's got to use her voice more moving forward.
And she's kind of cover up Izzy Higginbottom. Misses the shot, rebound by Chloe Kitts. Starting 5 for South Carolina, not changing, and Breezy Hall from 3.
That's how South Carolina has got to score. That's how they love to score, is in transition. And there's 3-point shooters getting shots, but they got to get back defensively because Higginbottom is not going to stop.
And transition defense is an area that Dawn Staley said hurt this South Carolina team against UConn. UConn had 31 fast break points.
But I think that the fast break points, that really comes from taking ill-advised shots, unexpected shots. Connecticut able to get the rebound and head the other way.
Short by Sanaya Fagan into the hands of Carly Johnson. Christina Sanchez looking for something for Arkansas. Phoenix Stotine. 8 seconds for the Razorbacks. Sanchez driving it on Kitts, can't get around her. Kitts working around Ojenua, and she gets the foul. Free throws coming. Now, South Carolina has lost 2 of its last 3 games, and Dawn Staley said after the game, I gave this team an F for their performance, but ready to move on. And she told us today, look, remember, they won 5 games in a row against 5 ranked opponents. That was the type of basketball and the style they want to get back to.
Yeah, when they were playing in those 5 games, and they were on a run. They were unselfish. And the thing that Don says all the time is make the main thing the main thing. And the main thing was focused on the team, making each other better. I think Connecticut divided them a little bit, and you saw a lot of one-on-one isolation. They got to get back to playing team basketball.
Vero Genua back over to Carly Johnson. Covered up by Pow Pow. Higginbottom now guarded by Raven Johnson. Gets past her. Has had a couple of good looks at the rim, but can't finish.
Higginbottom does not stop moving.
And she'll pretty much play the entire game. Mike Neighbors told us that he has to rest her in practice because they rely so much on her. But we asked him for keys for today. What is he looking for? No hesitation on taking a shot.
He doesn't want his players. He said, when you get an open shot and you don't take it, that's being selfish because of as much attention that Izzy attracts. When she passes out to you, be ready to shoot the ball.
Stowtime, step back three. Arkansas wants to play fast and shoot from outside.
Stowtime doesn't have any hesitation on that. Arkansas has come in here starting this first quarter with a lot of confidence.
Raven Johnson in the corner. So is South Carolina. They've hit 2 threes already.
Raven Johnson's got the responsibility of trying to keep Izzy Higginbottom out of the paint because when she drives, she's going to attract 2, sometimes 3.
Higginbottom accounts for 40% of Arkansas's points in SEC play. Stowtime over to Sanchez, 4 seconds. Pow Pow scanning ahead.
Sanaya Fagan posting up inside. You got to give the big a touch.
Top of the key, no for Pow Pow. Kitts chases it down. Six seconds. Raven to Kitts. Has to take the 3. It's a long 2 for Chloe Kitts.
But one of the things that Don Saley said to Chloe Kitts when Ashlyn Watkins went down, I need you to shoot more 3s. That will open up things inside for Sanaya Fagan. Moving the basketball has been so key. Giving up a good shot for a great shot. Pow Pow finding Raven Johnson, and then Johnson finding Chloe Kitts outside, just a toe on the line. It's a 2 and not a 3.
Shot selection been good for South Carolina?
I think it's been very good. I think that they've moved the basketball. Don't see just one-on-one isolations, but looking to find where an open opportunity is.
Well, Izzy Higginbottom at the free throw line. She is second in the nation in free throws made this year. This is the first. South Carolina brought in some subs, by the way. Mylasia Fulwiley, Tessa Johnson, and Joyce Edwards now on the court.
But the team, Arkansas as a team, they've taken 480. They have 480 made free throws. Izzy has 198 of those.
Kitts grabs it with one hand, down low to the freshman Joyce Edwards, who's double teamed. Into the hands of the Razorbacks. Stowtime, hesitation. Mylasia Fulwiley with the block. She is the best blocking guard in the SEC.
The timing and the athleticism that this sophomore has. If Mylasia Fulwiley didn't get it, Chloe Kitts was there to clean it up as well.
I think Fulwiley got the first hand on it, and then Chloe Kitts got the second. And Arkansas running out of time to get the ball in.
But not a bad decision by Stowtime. Don't just rush and throw it in, because then you got South Carolina headed the other direction. Give your defense a chance to get set.
Joyce Edwards, free throw line. And a great pass from Tahita Paopao.
I like the pocket pass. Coming off the ball screen, then just a bounce pass at the elbow. And that freshman, Joyce Edwards, she has been special there.
A couple of assists already for Paopao. 7-1 run, South Carolina. Higginbottom. Sanchez fires the three off the mark. Filali skies for it. Freshman to freshman. Ogenua with the rejection.
There was a lot of contact, I thought, right there.
And that's going to be the second foul against Vera Ogenua. She has struggled with foul trouble this season. South Carolina up early in this one in the first quarter, trying to shake off their last game. What she called a come to Jesus meeting, and we asked her a little bit more about that meeting today. She said the players spoke. It was a very honest conversation.
And you asked, the players spoke, and she laughed. She said, you don't have an option. When you have a meeting like that, you've got to speak up, and players were very accountable. But when you look at the three losses by South Carolina, the common thread is bad shots, taking bad shots. She said, when you take bad shots, that's bad news. In order to win a championship, they said, what is it going to take? And she said, a collective. They've got to do it together. They got to share the basketball. She said, it's like Legos. If you're missing a Lego, it's just not going to work out right. And the closest Lego store, it's in Charlotte. That's too far to have to go. So you got to stay connected here in Columbia.
Yeah, South Carolina has won its 3 national championships. They have done it having a dominant post player inside. That is not the case this year. Wiley misses the 3.
And because they don't have a dominant post, they've got good post players. You've got Sanaya Fagan, who's strong inside. You have Joyce Edwards that can play a 4. Chloe Kitts has been phenomenal on the glass. But when you have a dominant post player, this is what you have. You can put pressure defense and force inside. You got a shot blocker. You can take some ill-advised shots, but you've got a strong rebounder inside. And when you need that go-to bucket with a dominant post, you can just lob it inside. South Carolina doesn't have that anymore.
Why this is so surprising and shocking for some that South Carolina is 23-3 on the season is because you saw their record in the previous 3 years, 109-3. But again, the sky not falling in Columbia.
Yeah, just South Carolina has to win in a different way. It was very convenient. I won't say easy, but convenient when you have a player inside like you had with Asia Wilson, Aaliyah Boston, and last year, Camila Cardoso. But Joyce Edwards, she's showing herself to be special, and she's just a freshman. Number 8 for South Carolina.
Yeah, and the talk for the SEC Freshman of the Year for sure. Higginbottom will pull this out. The SEC's leading scorer, Izzy Higginbottom, 1 for 6 from the field.
Hard hedge by Sanaya Fagan to help out Tessa Johnson on Higginbottom.
There's Carly Keats. She was limited, but back full strength now. Raven saves it from going out of bounds. Cross court to Mylasia Fulwiley. Tessa Johnson waiting in the corner. No.
That's a good shot. A missed 3, but a good shot. And specifically, Tessa Johnson's a 3-point shooter that was wide open.
Arkansas just 1 for its last 7. And Higginbottom out of bounds. This will be South Carolina basketball.
South Carolina is mixing up the looks on Izzy Higginbottom. That last time, Sanaya Fagan, we have seen Tessa Johnson on Higginbottom. You've also had Raven Johnson with that responsibility as well.
Now, Arkansas has got to have help for Izzy Higginbottom. Somebody else has to step up and give them some production, and they've struggled to find that this year. That's going to go against Jada Bates of Arkansas, her first.
Yeah, Mike Neighbors has got to be pretty pleased for the most part. Only down 4.
South Carolina hasn't scored in over 2 minutes, but neither has Arkansas.
But an unforced turnover, that's not going to help you stay in the game. You know, the thing, too, when you're playing South Carolina, when Dawn Staley goes to her bench, the offensive production goes up. It doesn't drop off.
You know, 2 of their top 5 scorers come off the bench, including their leading scorer, Fagan.
That was a beautiful delivery right there. And a hard slip, hard cuts by the post player. That allow you, if you move, the ball will find you.
South Carolina, 5 made field goals. They've assisted on all 5.
Sanaya Fagan screen and immediately slip. You can't saunter when you're going to the basket. You've got to go hard. And Fagan made a strong cut.
No sauntering in the paint.
Not in the SEC. Sauntering is not allowed.
Catch and shoot off the mark for Jenna Lawrence.
Yeah, 3 games ago, Jenna Lawrence had 3 games in double figures.
6 assists for 6 field goals for South Carolina.
Guard delivery has been much better in this first quarter for South Carolina.
Arkansas hasn't scored in 3 minutes. Stotine. Kiki Smith making her return. Back from an ankle injury, in and out, and South Carolina can take the last shot of the quarter.
Arkansas jumping into a zone.
Joyce Edwards, 5 seconds. Bree Hall. Fouled at the elbow on Kiki Smith with 1 second left in the quarter. So 2 free throws on the way.
That's a cardinal sin right there. I mean, you're down to 1 second. You've just got to go straight up.
One of 2 for Bree Hall, almost tipped back in. With South Carolina up 18-9 after 10 minutes.
In the first quarter, it's been South Carolina 6 assists. Sharing the sugar, that's worked out well. They got to continue that going into the second.
Neighbor, you switched to T-Mobile home internet yet?
Trim your hedge.
It's $35 a month with no price hikes. Damn! It runs on T-Mobile's wireless 5G network, so all you gotta do is plug in 1 cord.
T-Mobile 5G home internet, just $35 a month. And with Price Lock, we won't raise your rate on internet.
Kidding me? And it's a tie game.
I can't believe what I am witnessing.
The streak wins for the win.
SEC Women's Basketball is presented by Regions Bank, official bank of the SEC. Well, South Carolina has won 8 SEC tournament titles, trying to continue that, and they're still in the hunt to win the SEC regular season title as well. They've got to win out in order to do that. They allowed their fewest first quarter points in an SEC game here in this one against Arkansas, just 9.
You almost could call the SEC tournament the South Carolina Invitational, but with the addition of Oklahoma, Texas coming into the SEC, this conference has been no joke this year.
Yeah, Texas can win out and get a share of the SEC regular season title in their first year in the league.
The SEC tournament, I'm going to tell you, if you don't have your tickets, you better get them, because you're going to have great games every single night.
Greenville is going to be lit.
Well, that's what Vic Schaefer said about the Moody Center when they were able to knock off LSU. He said that arena was lit. The players loved it.
That was hilarious. It was lit.
It was loud, man.
We were there.
Some great atmospheres in the SEC here in Colonial Life. What Kim Mulkey has done in the Pete Maravich Center in Louisiana. I mean, the SEC has been the place to be to watch some great women's basketball.
The transition bucket for Kiki Smith.
Yeah, Smith being out, hadn't played since January 26th with an ankle injury. I know Mike Neighbors was happy to get her back.
Edwards inside, leaves it short. Moving offensive foul on the screen against Christina Sanchez. 5 turnovers for Arkansas.
As I watch Arkansas play, the one player that has that bounce is Izzy Higginbottom. She is so happy to be playing for Arkansas in her home state, and she plays with such pride. It doesn't matter what the score is. It doesn't matter what their record is. She just comes and plays hard.
Yeah, transferred in from Arkansas State. That has been a big pickup for the Razorbacks. Chloe Kitts covered up. This will stay with South Carolina. Izzy Higginbottom actually started her career in the SEC. She went to Missouri first, then transferred to Arkansas State, and then found her way back to what she's called her dream school in Arkansas.
Listening to about her talk about her journey on the Hog Pod, Izzy Higginbottom, she talked about how her experience at Missouri and playing in the SEC really gave her a lot of confidence. When she went to the Sun Belt Conference, she dominated there, was all Sun Belt 2 years, and then she went into the portal. And she said once Mike Neighbors texted her, it was a wrap. She was able to go to her dream school, which is at Arkansas.
And she's an Arkansas native from Batesville, Arkansas.
You know, Mike Neighbors said, you know what she's done for the program is it has made a player like Higginbottom has made Mike Neighbors take a harder look at in-state players. Players that want to come to Arkansas take a hard look to see if they can come because they bring that dedication to the brand, dedication to the University of Arkansas.
So 2 free throws for Izzy Higginbottom. That puts her 3rd in Arkansas history in points in a single season. Chelsea Dungy is 1st. Stotine off of 1 foot, short. Bree Hall, transition 3. She's hit 2 tonight.
Well, South Carolina, 3 of 8 from the three-point line. Before that, they were shooting 26% from the floor.
Danica Galea misses the 3. Miriam Dowda, the former Arkansas Razorback. Oh, Kiki Smith wide open. Crushed it in the corner.
Well, coming into this game, Kiki Smith had made 47 threes.
That leads Arkansas. She shoots 40% from behind the arc. Kitts back out to Hall. Bree Hall brought her shot tonight.
Bree Hall with the experience. She's got to be one of those guards that shoots with consistency from the perimeter, but it's got to be in rhythm. It's got to be the right and open shot.
First time all season she's hit more than 2 threes in a game. She's got 3. Miriam Dowda to the hoop.
Dowda transfer from Arkansas. She's a post player that likes to shoot the three. That was a wise decision to attack the basket.
Colonial Life Arena starting to wake up. Kiki Smith, she's hit 2 from that spot.
And the assist from Higginbottom. Higginbottom, she first part of that shot clock, she got a little rest. Ball came to her, then she makes it happen. Defense has to bite. That opens up Smith in the corner.
And Mike Neighbors told us if Izzy Higginbottom passes them, her teammates the ball, he wants them to shoot it.
Well, it's a player that wants to shoot it is Bree Hall. And especially in transition, she's got to be ready. When open, get locked and loaded, and knock it down.
10 points for Bree Hall. Her season high is 12.
Look, in the last game for Arkansas against Ole Miss, they looked very discombobulated. Today, they look more organized. They're very patient. They're finding the shots that they want, and so far, able to knock them down.
Higginbottom shaking the defense off.
I think Doug Adams' daughter wants to do it too.
Kits inside. Dowda offensive board. Full Wiley in the corner. 5 threes for South Carolina.
Risky to go for Arkansas to go to a zone because South Carolina can get hot. Full Wiley find it. Bree Hall stay hot. That could be a problem.
Chloe Kitts fouled before she could get a shot off. That one will go against Jenna Lawrence.
Arkansas trying to hang around, only down 8. Izzy Higginbottom, she's got 7, but Malaysia Full Wiley comes in off the bench, sparks it from the corner.
Just looking at South Carolina's field goal percentage in the game, 33% from the field right now. And in their 2 most recent losses, they only hit a combined 3 mid-range shots. And look at the number of missed layups.
Yeah, against Texas, they missed 14, against UConn, 11. But that's a point blank, should be able to finish right there. And that's where you miss Camila Cardoso. So the post players, they've got to finish or get to the free throw line. Doesn't count as a missed shot if you get fouled. So you can't come out of that empty-handed when you're shooting the ball in the paint.
And tonight, South Carolina 3 of 9 on layups. Bree Hall got her own rebound. She's leading South Carolina with 10 points. Kitts for 2. Bottom of the net for Chloe Kitts. She's got 6.
I know Kitts made the shot, but I like the pass for Malaysia Full Wiley better because she got in the air almost up and got a pick.
The steal and the score. South Carolina is at its best when their defense can fuel their offense.
You got to have the pressure on the basketball. And Full Wiley, she brings that spark when she comes into the game.
Galea in the paint. An offensive foul against Sanaya Fagan, her first.
South Carolina moving the basketball, already 10 assists. And Malaysia Full Wiley, she got herself in the air, a little bit of trouble. But Kitts was spaced out on the other side. But Galea open at the free throw line. Spaced out, no hesitation. Mike Neighbors has got to be pleased with how his players are not hesitating when they have an open look.
Yeah, in this quarter, Arkansas has only been outscored by 2 points. 16-14 in this quarter. off of South Carolina. They'll stay with the Razorbacks. Tessa Johnson back in for the Gamecocks.
We talked to Dawn Staley about the offense. She said, when a team makes a run, you've got to go to that sustainable offense and the right players taking the right shots. And when you're struggling offensively or not shooting the ball consistently, I'm not real sure who that is for South Carolina right now. Somebody's got to step up, take the lead, and make the decision of where the ball needs to be.
Maddie McDaniel, the freshman, pushing ahead to full Wiley. Wow.
This might be the player that needs to be taking the shots, because Mylasia Full-Wiley, since she's come into this game, she has been a spark for the Gamecocks, pushing, running in transition, and always a highlight waiting to happen.
Seven points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. She can make it 8 points now as she finishes the three-point play for Mylasia Full-Wiley.
Now the spark, Joyce Edwards and Mylasia Full-Wiley, you mentioned it. They are 1 and 2 in scoring for South Carolina. So that's something nice Dawn Staley has. When she needs to score, she can go to her bench.
Maddie McDaniel in transition. South Carolina is lethal when they can pick your pocket and steal on the other end and score on the other end.
When you pick your pocket, that's like going to the bank, right? Get the defense going, then make a deposit on the other end. But Kiki Smith still staying hot from the three-point line.
That's a big returner today for Arkansas. She's got 11. And the turnover by South Carolina, turnover number 4.
Here's the rule. When somebody dribbles at you, you cut back door. You cannot dance. You cannot dance. When they dribble at you, that means backdoor cut. Let somebody else fill that spot.
Eighth turnover for Arkansas. Fagan whips around Galea.
I like that face-up move by Sanaya Fagan, and then the quick step on the baseline to get the finish. She's got to have a huge presence inside for South Carolina if they're going to make a deep run in March.
Here's Kiki Smith. She's had all 11 points here in the second quarter and adding to it 13.
And Mike Neighbors told us someone had to help Izzy Higginbottom. Kiki Smith has brought it.
Chloe Kitts went up to get that ball.
Well, it's a quick strike by South Carolina so they can possibly go 2 for 1 down the stretch to end the second quarter.
They've hit their last 6 shots. And Galea traveled.
Sanaya Fagan on the left side of the floor. On the catch, the reverse pivot, and then the hard drive on the baseline to get to the finish. And then Chloe Kitts making her presence inside. As a collective group in the post, in the paint, these two players have got to produce for South Carolina.
So timeout for South Carolina with 31.8 on the clock. Don, want to go over a play here?
Well, you're practicing now for the postseason, and so you want to recognize to end a half how and what you want to execute, who can stay disciplined, who can follow instructions out of that huddle in order to be able to keep the momentum going into the locker room at the half.
All right, you mentioned players stepping up, somebody taking some big shots. Mylasia Full-Wiley, she can certainly do that. We've seen that. And it started as a kid in her driveway with her sister, counting her down. Bank shot.
That was her little sister in the background counting down. Mylasia Full-Wiley grew up 7 miles from Colonial Life Arena.
Oh! Not quite 0. 18 still on the clock, but South Carolina will take it.
But that is execution out of the timeout. The ATO, that was beautiful.
Higginbottom trying to weave and puts up a circus shot. 0.1 on the clock. Time will expire as soon as this is inbounded. And South Carolina hit its last 7 shots of the half, capping it with the shot from Fulwiley.
On the backside, keep an eye on Malaysia Fulwiley, cutting hard for the great screen by Sanaya Fagan. Fulwiley set it up. She came up wide, high on the opposite side, and the perfect pass delivery from little Maddie. That's special.
South Carolina up at the half, 44-28. Back to the sugar, as you say, Coach Beck.
Well, you've got to move the basketball. That's how you can create easy shots. Little bounce pass, little drop pass there. And then the post, in order to get the assist, you got to finish. And so finding Sanaya Fagan and allowing her to go to work inside, that has been key. You got Chloe Kitts on the face-up. I like the post passing, the high-low as well. And mark this. This needs to be on Sports Center. The alley-oop to Malaysia Fulwiley. Why not? That was fantastic.
South Carolina hit its last 7 shots of the half. 7 assists on 23 made field goals against UConn. A lot different story here tonight. 14 assists on 17 made field goals already. And Tahina Paopao is going to go to the free throw line.
Only 2 players that have played for South Carolina have not scored. One is Tahina Paopao, and the other is Tessa Johnson. So everybody's getting into the action. Going back to what Don said, in order to make a championship run, they have to do it with a collective, not just it all falling on the shoulders of 1 or 2 individuals.
Vera Ojenua just picked up her 3rd foul right at the start here of this 3rd quarter.
And Ojenua got into early foul trouble in Arkansas's last game against Ole Miss. Actually picked up 2 in the 1st quarter, so she did a better job lasting through the first half. But now she's going to have to play conservative in this 3rd.
Mike Neighbors of Arkansas told us he wanted to see them take shots without hesitation. Did you see that in the first half?
I did. I thought that, especially having Kiki Smith back, she was big. Galea, we saw the face-up from her. Every player not named Higginbottom, when they get the ball and they're open, they got to continue to pull the trigger.
Now, Izzy Higginbottom, number 3 in the Cardinal jersey. She's the leader in the SEC in points per game, but just 2 for 11 from the field. 7 points for her. Bree Hall, no. Chloe Kitts back out to Raven Johnson.
But that's another missed layup by South Carolina.
Shot clock did not reset. Two.
It's 3 in 1 possession. Three missed layups by the Gamecocks.
Kitts will take the 3 instead. And South Carolina, or Arkansas finally comes out with it. Sanchez blocked by Paopao, but back into her hands and finishes the layup.
Now, but the missed opportunities, I think it really cost South Carolina against Texas. I don't know if anything really would have helped them against UConn on Sunday. Chloe Kitts continues to work on the glass.
Raven Johnson catch and shoot, no. That's going to be Arkansas basketball as they get Kitts for the foul, her first.
The Kitts on the season, she's averaged over 7 rebounds a game. She's got 9 today.
She's 9th in the SEC in rebounds per game.
Yeah, the puzzle when you play in Arkansas is how do you keep and limit shot opportunities from Izzy Higginbottom and then defend out to the perimeter.
Christina Sanchez hits from 3.
And no hesitation from Sanchez.
6 3-pointers for an Arkansas team that averages 7 a game.
Look, this has been a adverse season for Arkansas, and I asked Mike Neighbors, what is it that you're looking for from your team today? And he said, we've had some really good practices, want that to carry over to the game, just be better today than they were yesterday. And from going from the Ole Miss game to this one, I see an improvement.
This Arkansas team on a 4-game losing streak, only 9 wins on the season. But trying to push forward, and that'll be last touch by South Carolina.
With 3, some have 4 games remaining in the SEC. You want to be playing your best basketball as you head to Greenville.
Phoenix Stowtime. Pow Pow. Finishes in transition.
She kind of gave a look to the heavens, and thank goodness that went in.
That ends a 2.5-minute scoring drought for the Gamecocks. Stowtime will set it up. Higginbottom is at the top of your screen. Stowtime lets it fly out. Pow's got to pull up, doesn't have any help. Joyce Edwards counted.
Tahina Pow took huge accountability for that loss at UConn, said she has got to be a leader. Coming out in this third quarter, she has stepped it up, not only on the defensive end, but also on the offensive end, making things happen. And there's nobody more excited for Joyce Edwards than Tahina Pow.
3 assists for Pow. Joyce Edwards 3-point play, and that was the 4th foul on Vera Ogenua, so she is on the Arkansas bench now.
You know, another area that Pow said that her team, they had to improve, and that was to be more vocal. I hear Sanaya Fagan using her voice tonight.
Kiki Smith misses. She had 13 points in the second quarter for Arkansas. Oh, the pass to Joyce Edwards. How did Raven get that there?
That's the point guard Don Staley needs, to probe, get in the lane, keep your eyes up, and then find your options.
Higginbottom loses it. Oh, too easy for Edwards. And Mike Neighbors has got to call a timeout. 9-0 run, South Carolina.
Point guard play. That's crucial for the Gamecocks and Raven Johnson. Eyes up, probe, keep looking. You'll find it. Eventually she does. Edwards for the 2.
To you by Carvana, and Joyce Edwards is on a 7-0 run by herself.
Well, she is just so accurate. She can score in so many different ways. I remind you at home, this is a freshman, but she already understands. Command your space early. That makes your job a whole lot easier.
She was the 2-time National Player of the Year in high school, a 2-time state champion, and number 3 overall recruit. Played high school as a 7th grader.
That's impressive in itself. I mean, the maturity, she has an old soul coming in to play in a program like South Carolina that has and gains so much national attention. She's not nervous. She hasn't played like a freshman on the floor. She really looks like she's been here before.
She is tied with Mylasia Fulwiley for the scoring lead, and Bree Hall. All 3 of those have 10 points. Kiki Smith stopped by a double team and traveled.
I think it's key for South Carolina to have that kind of balance. You know, to have Bree Hall add to what Joyce Edwards and Malaysia Fulwiley have done on a pretty consistent basis. Now, Tessa Johnson is the only Gamecock that has not gotten in the scoring column that has played.
Well, that's changed.
Well, oh my goodness.
Oh, Edwards. 12 for Joyce. And South Carolina settling into a comfortable rhythm now.
Raven Johnson does a fantastic job on the glass.
She's South Carolina's top rebounding guard in transition. Phoenix Stotine, no. And Arkansas hasn't scored in over 4 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Around the back and in! Malaysia! Wow! Malaysia Fulwiley in full force. Around the back and up, and a chance for a 3-point play. She can ball. Malaysia Fulwiley, 12 points, and doing it with some flash. Something about Malaysia Fulwiley and a highlight reel. It just goes together.
When you see that the Gamecocks are playing, you want to tune in because Malaysia Fulwiley's got something special in her bag. She seems to pull it out every game. Remember that? That was her first game in Paris as a freshman. It wasn't a fluke. That's just part of her repertoire.
Yeah, she had a highlight in that first game last year of her freshman year that made SportsCenter. Everybody was talking about it, and this is very much like that play. Malaysia Fulwiley, who has found a role coming off the bench for South Carolina.
And has relished in that. I was reading an article on how Malaysia Fulwiley, in making the decision to come to South Carolina, she wanted to play for Don Staley, a coach that was going to hold her accountable, not someone to just caught up in the highlights that she could bring, but to help her grow and be the best version of herself.
I thought it was really impressive last year when Malaysia was a freshman. Don Staley told us that she already understood that she had a standard she should hold herself to. And when she didn't meet that standard, she went out and worked harder. And Don told us sometimes that takes a long time for players to develop that.
Well, and Malaysia Fulwiley has embraced that. And the thing, too, is Dawn's not trying to limit what Malaysia does, but help her understand when to do what and to continue to grow from there.
Kiki Smith. And the run continues, an 18-2 run over the last 4 minutes for South Carolina. Kitts.
But the layups, that's got to be the concern for South Carolina. If you're going to nitpick, where do they need to improve? They've got to finish when they get layup opportunities.
They're 16 of 25 on layups tonight. 6 seconds. Kiki Smith bounces out. There's going to be a foul on the floor. That's against Malaysia Fulwiley, her second.
But South Carolina's got to be pleased with what they and how they have contained Izzy Higginbottom. It's a player that averages 24, a little over 24 points a game, So far, she only has 7. That's number 3 in red.
She's only hit 2 field goals.
But if she's not scoring buckets, more times than not, she's getting to the free throw line. Only 4 free throw attempts tonight.
Bree Hall off the front of the iron. Chloe Kitts at the free throw line. 13 rebounds tonight for Chloe Kitts. She's a point away from a double-double.
The amount of work that Chloe Kitts has put in the weight room has really paid off for her. She realized after her first season, she ended up on the floor a lot. And Molly Benetti, the strength coach, works with Kitts. And even Kitts does a lift on game day.
So she can do that right there. Battle in the paint. Bree Hall transition, no. Joyce Edwards crashing the glass. Chloe Kitts has her 6th double-double of the season. That ties her total from last year.
The effort, the energy. Number one, her energy is what has gotten her minutes on the floor. She has come to work. She brings her hard hat every night and does the hard work, especially on the glass for the Gamecocks. And she's had to step up because, remember, Ashlyn Watkins out for the season with that torn ACL, recovering after having her surgery.
Had her surgery on January 31st, and I think that's a presence that South Carolina has missed down low.
And what they've missed from not having Ashlyn Watkins, this is a player that she's about 6'3" or so, but she jumps like she's 6'6", 6'7", got great extension. She's already got a few dunks under her belt in her early career at South Carolina.
And the 2+ minute scoring drought continues for Arkansas. It's a 22-2 run for South Carolina.
It was a great look by Tessa Johnson in transition.
Finally, Kiki Smith able to find the bottom of the net.
A bright spot for Arkansas is having Kiki Smith back available.
Now she's back for the first time in 5 games after an ankle injury in practice.
Again, if you run the floor, it'll pay off. And Breezy Hall does that. Tessa Johnson delivers it perfectly.
22-5 run over the last 6+ minutes for South Carolina.
Now, early in the season, South Carolina will get off to slow starts. That happened tonight. They have got to learn how to just come out of the gates like gangbusters to start the game.
That's a 2 from Kiki Smith. And South Carolina can take the last shot of the quarter. They have outscored Arkansas 24-12 here in the third.
I think you got to go let Malaysia Fulwiley just go one-on-one. And she called Joyce Edwards, give me space. Let me go to work.
Time to cook. On the assist.
Come on.
Head chef and sous chef.
Malaysia Fulwiley. She ended the half like that, but the third quarter, this show ain't over. It ain't over. She's ready to continue to bring the highlights for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Absolutely. One of them's got to make Sports Center. Come on. Malaysia Fulwiley has put on a show today. She's got 13 points, And she has been that spark off the bench that South Carolina's needed.
And as Taylor Swift says, I feel so high school. Flashback to their high school days. Her and Joyce Edwards played against each other in a state championship game. And guess what? Mylasia Fulwiley dropped 41 points on her future teammate.
I know she ain't going to let
Joyce forget it?
Oh, no.
No. Don't worry, Joyce got her state championships, but they had some battles back in the day. Both South Carolina kids decided to stay at home and play for the Gamecocks.
That's the thing. Just imagine, not only did they decide to stay at home and play at South Carolina, they are 1-2 in scoring for the reigning national champions.
Off the bench.
Off the bench. That is, look, and happy about it. They just come in and do their work.
So interesting question.
Okay.
Your top 2 scorers are coming off the bench. Any thought to putting them in the starting lineup?
Here's the I'll answer that for you.
Yeah.
If you put them in the starting lineup, when you need to go to your bench, what do you have? You've established that spark that you have, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. When you got Mylasia Fulwiley that you can go pick out of your bag to put on the floor to make the offense happen, why mess with that?
South Carolina is first in the nation in bench points per game. They get 41.2 points off of their bench. 51% of their total points come off the bench. They've got 35 bench points tonight. Joyce Edwards.
So many people get caught up in being a starter. You better be worried about being a producer. So when you get on the floor, what you make happen, doesn't matter if you start the game, long as you get in the game. And that's what Joyce Edwards and Mylasia Fulwiley do for South Carolina.
Tessa! South Carolina used a 22-5 run in the third quarter to break this thing open. Trying to bounce back after losing 2 of its last 3 games.
Top 2 in scoring. This is number 2 for South Carolina. Mylasia Fulwiley. And then the freshman, Joyce Edwards. Little pick, pop, and drive. Number 8 gets the finish. And the most impressive thing about these two, Mylasia Fulwiley is a sophomore. Joyce Edwards is a freshman. The future is bright for the Gamecocks.
And South Carolina, the only team in the nation with their bench averaging more points than their starters. Oh, one to the other. They played against each other on the high school hardwood, playing together in college.
They are a force to reckon with.
Stow time, yes.
Yeah, that's what Mike Neighbors, though. He's got to be pleased offensively with his team when shooters have gotten the basketball. They have shot it. They have not hesitated. They've not shot, fake, dribble, and have to make a tougher shot, but pull it up from the three-point. He wants them to shoot a three-point shot.
Yeah, that was his biggest focus coming into today. No hesitation on the shot, and they have not hesitated.
His turnovers have been a problem for Arkansas. They have 15.
Fulwiley called for her third foul.
But these two trying to stay connected. They read each other, look for each other. Unselfish, willing to share the basketball.
It's the no look for me. Didn't even look at her, just boop.
Well, you got to tune in to watch South Carolina just to see what Fulwiley's going to do. Because it is, every game, she's got a wild moment. What Dawn Staley wanted her to do is learn how to play between those wild moments. And I think doesn't leave a lot of time. There's a lot of wild moments when Fulwiley plays.
I will say, going back and watching that UConn game again, as Tessa Johnson hits from 3, there were moments when Mylasia Fulwiley got the crowd back into it, made a spark happen, but she just didn't get any help from her teammates.
but she's come to compete. This year when she didn't play well and Dawn has had to pull her, she has learned she's got to bring it every second she's on the floor.
Power move from Miriam Dowda against her old team.
Dowda's going to be key. She's got to be in that post rotation. And it's a player that likes to shoot the three, but establishing inside is going to be key. If you do your work early, that makes your life easier as a post player. And then you can get into your bag with the step through, and Dowda gets the finish.
4.6 boards for Miriam Dowda. It's been a handful of seasons at Arkansas where she averaged just over 10 points a game, 6 rebounds last year. Step back for Stotine. And Adele Tack with the rebound.
That's another young freshman that has come in. She's still developing, but you got to be ready for that contact inside. I like it. Post, repost.
Maddie McDaniel will shoot. Higginbottom just 2 for 15 tonight, only 7 points for the SEC's leading scorer.
It's a good box out. The teams have figured out, I think, of how to slow down Izzy Higginbottom. 2 of 15 on the night.
How has South Carolina slowed her down?
Well, on ball screens, a hard hedge, guards continuing to work. Their work's not over. Once Izzy Higginbottom comes off the screen, you get a hard hedge from the post player, then the guard's got to get there.
This was the last play. Adele Tack running over Ogenua, and they whistled her for her 5th foul, so she is fouled out.
I thought Ogenua was there. That's tough, losing her. She is their rebounding force inside.
Remember, they won't look at the arc on the floor. That's only in the men's game, so ignore that.
But if you got 2 feet down and established legal guarding position, that's tough.
Tessa Johnson ate it up.
Yeah, defending Izzy Higginbottom, you've got to defend past one dribble. You've got to be able to get there if she gets to that second dribble to stop penetration and be there to contest the shot.
It's the 3rd shot of the night that she has hit for Izzy Higginbottom. That puts her in double figures with 10.
Yeah, but her season average 24.
Eight seconds for South Carolina. Dowda can shoot the 3. Just showed you there.
That's her 5th 3 of the season.
And Arkansas is able to answer. Bree Hall coming around. South Carolina has outscored Arkansas 19-9 here in the 4th quarter.
shooting 47%. After they got past that first quarter, South Carolina's consistency shooting the basketball got a whole lot better.
They're 8 of 11 from the field here in the fourth. Possession arrow keeps it with Arkansas. Miriam Dowda facing our old team. It's a triple. 7 points, 7 rebounds. Tack on the triple for Miriam Dowda, and her teammates feeling it. Last year went undefeated, the 10th undefeated national champion in the history of our sport. And you see bracketology right now, Charlie Cream has 10 teams from the SEC getting in. None of these teams are on the bubble. They are in the tournament right now.
This has been, I think, one of the best seasons in the SEC with the addition of Texas and Oklahoma, the improvement of Alabama, Vanderbilt, what Sam Purcell is doing at Mississippi State, Coach Yo doing at Ole Miss. Like every night, you're going to get a great basketball game.
And South Carolina projected to be a #1 seed along with Texas. Those are the two teams in the SEC that Charlie Cream thinks will get the top seeds. And South Carolina's been a #1 seed in the last 4 NCAA tournaments.
But after that loss to Connecticut, I feel like South Carolina moved to that 4th #1 seed. And I think that's the most vulnerable position because remember, USC knocked off UCLA. They're sitting there waiting for that window of opportunity to present itself.
South Carolina used a 22-5 run to break this game open in the third quarter. They're shooting 50% from the field in this half, and they've hit 8 3-pointers tonight. Tack misses. Galea rims out.
But South Carolina also, with its depth, can just wear you out, physically, and that affects your shooting as well.
You were just talking about USC. Right now they're a 2 seed. You see the 1 seeds, UCLA, Texas, Notre Dame, and South Carolina. The SEC has LSU listed as a 2 seed.
It'll be interesting to see how the committee looks at UConn now that they have Izzy Fudd back.
Ooh.
So the combination of Paige Beckers, Izzy Fudd, and Sarah Strong, come on.
If you're South Carolina, going back and watching this film from today, compared to what you saw on Sunday, what stands out?
Well, I think the sharing and movement of the basketball. I think that the ball moved in the first quarter, but they didn't shoot a high percentage. They stayed true to that, and in the second quarter continued to move the basketball, and then the shots. They trust the process, and the shots then started to fall. I think what's going to be important for South Carolina moving forward, though, this Arkansas team, they've struggled this season. I mean, let's just be realistic. A team that's on the rise is their next opponent when they play Vanderbilt. They've got to play a super freshman in Michaela Blakes. You've got Camille Pierre, Ayanna Moore. This is a team that Shea Ralph has that is playing much better. They're no longer in the bottom of the SEC. This is a team that can compete. This is a team that shoots the 3. This is a team that is beginning to believe that they belong in the upper echelon of the SEC.
And Vanderbilt 6-6 in the SEC. They're losing right now to Oklahoma, but Michaela Blakes has 30 points. And she's a player that's dropped 50 points twice this season.
Twice she's done that. 53 and then 55. She had 24 in the first half tonight.
Well, that's South Carolina's next opponent on Sunday. They'll be in Nashville to play Vanderbilt at 3 Eastern.
It doesn't stop there for South Carolina because after Vanderbilt, they've got to play a very stingy defensive team in Ole Miss. So if you don't take care of the basketball, the Rebels can make you pay.
But they'll attack with the bucket. Again, if South Carolina wins out, they get at least a share of the SEC regular season title. That's the same is true for Texas.
And let's not just stop past Ole Miss. They got to play Kentucky. Georgia Amore trying to make a case for SEC Player of the Year. Clara Strack, post player inside. They also have Deja Lawrence, who can shoot the three. And I can guarantee you, Kenny Brooks is going to come in with multiple defensive scheme to try to slow down South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina has dominated the SEC since 2013, 8 regular season and 8 tournament titles. They're looking for their 4th straight SEC regular season title.
You know, not that South Carolina would approach that tournament and be cocky, but they would have a lot of confidence going in. This year, they got to look around and go, this is going to be no easy walk in the park.
Sakima Walker is the only player for South Carolina that has not scored. They're trying to get her the basketball.
Yeah, Maddie McDaniel was looking for her.
Now she's got to go.
I think for the most part, South Carolina has moved the ball around. One thing I think Dawn Staley will check, though, is what are the percentages from the shooting layups? I don't think that was as high as she may have wanted it to be.
Well, South Carolina hoping to start a new home winning streak tonight. Back in the win column for the Gamecocks, 95-55 is your final. South Carolina takes down Arkansas.
Shot 45% from the floor, had 4 players in double figures. But I think the biggest number Dawn Staley's got to be pleased with, 27 assists on the night. That means the ball was popping and moving around.
Malaysia Fulwiley, highlight reel. You can't say it enough. Alyssa Lang and the gang will talk to Malaysia on the other side. South Carolina victorious 95-55, and they did it with a little shine, a little sparkle from Malaysia Fulwiley. She'll join the SEC studio crew when we come back. Now we'll get you to Alyssa Lang.
Real tonight. Malaysia, congratulations on the win. We have to talk about the backdoor alley-oop. Talk us through how much you practice that and what goes into drawing up that play in the timeout before you run that.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. But, I feel like I practice that a lot in practice. My teammates, they always throw me up the ball. They don't really make regular passes to me. So when Coach drew it up, she was like, just jump up and get that thing. And I was like, all right, I've been waiting for that. So I was excited that it went in because when I was in there, I was thinking like, oh my gosh, I got to make it.
I have to ask you is every time I watch you play, you've got a new move. Where do you learn all these moves from?
2K. So, seriously, seriously, I play 2K a lot. So my player, she do a lot. I mean, he do a lot of good moves. So I just kind of redo those moves in the game, and it works out. Today, I don't know how I made most of those shots, but it went in. So thank you.
Who do you play as, or who do you play with?
My player is a Kevin Durant style of play. So yeah.
Do you play by yourself or with a teammate?
I'm about to start playing with my teammates. They just got their PS5, so they got to send me their usernames. But I really just watch a lot of basketball and play a lot of basketball and just try to recreate those things myself.
Hey, I thought you were practicing those moves at Crane Forest Park where you grew up. It looked like yes. Yeah. So I know Coach Staley has been challenging you guys to move the ball, obviously play together. 27 assists on 37 made field goals. You had 4 of those distributing to your teammate inside. Talk to us about just what that means for you guys to come back from the loss against South Carolina and to play the way you did today.
I think this week we kind of emphasized just passing to the open player. Coach been saying that a lot to us, and I feel like today we did that. With me, I just kind of go off my instinct, and I feel when Joyce is near or when Sanaya is near, when my teammates are near, and they just ready for my passes, and I'm glad that they're not finally, but I'm glad that they're making those shots.
Mileage, I want to talk more about just what the makeup of this team is like. Obviously, on Sunday was disappointing. What is it about the relationships that this group has that allows you guys to bounce back the way that you did today and continue that moving forward?
I think it's just how real it is, and also how together we are. I feel like we love each other, and we appreciate each other a lot, and we don't want to let each other see us down. And I felt like Sunday we were kind of down, and we told each other that we're never going to let that happen again, and by any means necessary, if we have to come out and go hard, go strong for the first 5-10 minutes, then that's what we're going to do. Exhaust ourselves. That's what we're going to have to do. And I feel like today the first group, they really exhausted themselves, which made it the game kind of slower when the second group got in.
Mylasia, let's go back to the 2K thing. You know, I'm being brought up to speed on the video games and everything. How about the Euro today? You know, was that something that you do with the Kevin Durant player that you have?
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. I do a lot of passes. I do a lot of layups and everything on 2K. Really, I just try new things out, and I try to see if my player can make it. He's not really good yet, so I'm trying to get him there. But I play a lot of 2K with my cousin and stuff, and he just tell me like, shoot it or do this and do that, and then I try to tell myself in the game, then just do it, just play.
I just love that Mylasia talking about 2K makes Steffi sound really old when you're trying to ask questions about it, and I really appreciate that.
I'm looking forward to her being on the cover of a 2K.
Yeah, me too.
Let's make that happen.
Yes.
Mylasia, congrats on the dub. Can't wait to see what moves you have next for us.
Thank y'all.
Always great to catch up with her. I mean,
2K.
You know,
Kevin Durant makes sense.
If it works, it works, right? Like, makes me think, should I trade in my Xbox for a PS5 so I can try to play 2K with Mylasia Fawali? Like, if that's what it's going to take.
I mean, set on, you know.
Nikki, you said this goes way back, though, right? Like, you recruit Mylasia, you know this is what you're going to get. And a lot of people recruited her besides Dawn Staley. Is this?
It seemed like everything kind of came together tonight for you. Just how good were you feeling, especially in those last three quarters? How confident were you out there?
I was very confident compared to how confident I've been in the past. I feel like a lot of shots a lot of layups were falling for me, and I was just excited, and it made me feel good about taking more layups. And my teammates pushed me through and gave me that confidence and that boost that I needed. So I was just happy.
Arkansas's coach came in here and was praising how your ability to disrupt them on defense. I know you talked about, taking more pride in your defense this year. Just, is it gratifying to hear an opposing coach come in and praise that side of your game, especially when you help shut down one of the better scorers in the country?
Oh, yes, definitely. That's a compliment, actually. I take pride in my defense, and I work really hard on it. So just for him to say that means that people see it, and people see that I'm really trying and I'm putting effort in it. So thank you to Arkansas coach, and I'm just going to keep working on my defense each and every day. I feel like I'm guarding Raven and Practice Powell, some of the best players in college basketball, so they're helping me get to where I am now.
Joyce, Dawn said yesterday that the threat of all three of your losses was you guys weren't playing to your identity. Do you feel like tonight it's just one game, but tonight was more the identity of this team, what you guys were able to do on both ends?
Yeah, of course. I mean, bounce back game. We knew we had to come in and execute, show the world who South Carolina is, remind them who South Carolina is, and that's what we did.
Lay, you talked about how happy you were, tonight. We saw you kind of crack a smile after that sort of behind the back thingy that you did. Don't even know how to describe it, I guess. After the emotions that went into the loss on Sunday, I guess, how good does it really feel now to kind of completely wash that away and be able to smile on the court?
It feels great. I mean, when you get beat like that, it's always good to just come back up and be ready and be focused for the next game. And I feel like that's exactly what we did, and me as well. I feel like I didn't really think about the game. I didn't think about our last game. I really just focused on this game, and that kind of helped me go out there and do what I was able to do. And I like when I make shots. It makes me happy, so that's why I smiled.
Mylasia, on that note, when you're hitting some of these crazy shots, like, do you ever surprise yourself that they go in, or are you expecting to go in every time?
Well, tonight I kind of surprised myself. But usually I kind of expect them to go in, and then they don't. So I feel like I just need to go out there and just play and don't think. And when I do that, like how I did today, it kind of just goes in, and I kind of smirk.
Joyce, obviously, we just heard Mylasia say what she thinks when she's making those kind of plays. What do you guys and the rest of the squad think when you see her going behind the back and throwing up a reverse layup from outside the box?
Yeah, bro. She literally does that in practice. Like, But every time she does it, it's just a shocker. No matter how many times she does it, it's just like, or it's just like mind blowing because you don't see that every day. You don't see nobody doing that, and like I feel like that's what makes Slay special. Like literally, like going out there and just going out there and playing basketball, and do what she want to do, and executing what she works on. So, yeah.
Anything else for student athletes? Thank you, ladies.
Great response.
Dawn, obviously 40-point wins, a lot of offense, but the defense specifically on Higginbottom, how much did y'all drill on that, and how did you think it really played out?
I mean, obviously she was a key to, I mean, she was a target on our scouting report. So was Smith, and that didn't work. I mean, that didn't work out in our favor. But if you can disrupt, I mean, we wanted to disrupt and not give her Higginbottom great looks. Just try to make her work for everything. And sometimes when you do that, it's somewhat disruptive. And then somebody else ends up, having a good night. But if you can take, if you can take the head of the snake, usually the rest you can you can put yourself in a position where you can win a basketball game.
Don, y'all's margin for victory in these 3 wins after the 3 losses is just under 40 points. I know that you've mentioned you feel like you guys are at your best in these situations, but what makes this team so good at being able to bounce back?
I mean, we don't like to lose, obviously, and we don't like to lose the way we've lost the 3 games. And there's a certain focus to just get back to our habits, and hopefully we can continue that as we, as the regular season comes to a close, and we got some games in which we got to play well in order for us to win.
When you tell us yesterday that you need this team to get back to its identity, then it didn't do that in the losses, how close is what you saw tonight to that identity that you kind of have in your mind?
I thought we were more like ourselves when it came to just the toughness piece of it, the extra efforts on the boards, the loose balls. I thought we wanted to win all of them. It wasn't any of them that we just allowed to just happen without some resistance. So I was happy about that. I was happy that, Chloe played well. Chloe played like Chloe. Fagan did her job defensively. Joyce continues to play consistently. I thought Lay played really efficiently, sharing the basketball, making incredible passes and plays. Tessa saw the ball go in. Breezy saw the ball go in. And I was happy for Miriam. Obviously it's hard playing your former team, but I thought she looked more relaxed than like any time during the season. And she had reason to kind of be nervous about playing against her former team, but I just thought she gave us some really good minutes. We put her in early to see what she would look like, and she just looked calm. And I hope this performance will allow her to help us, because there's something there. I mean, there's some skills there. She rebounds the basketball. It's just sometimes she probably wants to play perfectly and wants to do all the right things, and sometimes that gets in the way. But I'm hoping this is it, that she can end up helping us somewhere, down the line.
You already talked about Malaysia a little bit, but earlier in the year, you told me that it's not addition or subtraction, or it's not subtraction with her, it's addition. It's kind of figuring out how she brings that flair into these games. I guess tonight it felt like she was really able to master the moments and when those flashy plays worked. I guess, did you see it that way? And what was Arkansas, I guess, doing that allowed her to kind of step in the gas in that direction?
I mean, Lay has a real good understanding of what needs to happen. Like, she really does. I think in the moment, I don't think she could help herself at times. But I thought today was just great. Like, they were timely. They were what she was supposed to do in that situation. She didn't force the shot. She dumped it off a few times. She's very, very unselfish. So I just thought she just met the moment. I think the biggest thing that she's doing is defending, like defending. She's competing um, on the other side of the floor. So, she puts herself in a position where she can do that. And it worked out. Like it worked out. I don't think she had any turnovers in this particular game. Very efficient from the floor. She's growing. Like she really is growing. She's learning. She's growing. She's more active in practice. She's she's using her voice in practice. So it's always a good thing when a young player starts to utilize their voice and they understand their power.
Yeah, Coach, just to follow up on Lay, like obviously she has a very deep bag of different moves that she pulls out. Do any of those surprise you at any point? I know you see it a lot in practice as well. Or are there any moments where you tense up and just kind of wonder what's about to happen?
I do. I do. I mean, I missed almost 2 or 3 of her assists because I was sitting and the official is like right in my viewpoint. So I missed a couple of dumps that she had to Joyce. Like I know she's going to do something. Like if she is on the break, we pass the ball up to her. She's gonna she's gonna do something. I just hope it's something that's positive that we can get a bucket, a point, something. Either way, the crowd's gonna do their thing and be, really, really supportive of whatever she does. So I just, it's fun to just watch her learn and grow. Like she is probably just a shell of she's a she's grown so much just from practice, just her attention to detail in practice, her communication and knowing that, if she takes an ill-advised shot, she'll just look and she's like, no bad shot. She'll say something like that where, you know, last year she would take it and she'd be like, I can make that, like whether it's good or bad. But, when you communicate a little bit different, you have an understanding and I know I can't wait to see the finished product of where I don't really have to say anything to her. She just knows. So that's pretty cool. But it was a good game for like all of our players. Raven's stat line isn't great, but some of the things that she's doing is what she's working on for her. That's going to end up helping us this season.
Coach Staley, one of the things that you guys did tremendously tonight on both sides was rebounding, especially on the offensive side. You guys had 23 offensive rebounds compared to only 6 from Arkansas, and you guys had 57 total rebounds compared to only 23 from Arkansas. So what I wanted to ask is, did you guys have a certain plan, like establishing yourselves in the paint, or what was the intention for that?
I mean, that's the key. You win the paint. You put yourself in a position to increase your chances of winning. One is just making layups. That's one. Just make layups. 2 is rebounding. I thought Chloe really spearheaded her effort to go in there and get some rebounds. I knew she was going to have a good game today. Like I think Chloe's been just trying to play consistent for us. Play the right way. Like I put a lot of pressure on Chloe. I do a lot of pressure because I feel like she's the player that can make really great basketball decisions and plays. And when she doesn't do that for us, we're a different basketball team. So, when you explain it to her like that, I think it clears her head so she can go out there and do the things that we need her to do in order for us to, have success out there on the court.
You mentioned Lay's growth, and just going back to that, she sat up here and said that she was not really thinking about Sunday, and obviously she was a little emotional after that loss. I guess, is that a certain point of growth specifically that you think maybe would have been different last year in terms of the emotional maturity and kind of the ability to rebound so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, Lay was mad. I mean, she was mad after the game. And, you can be mad and hold it in, or you could be mad and just kind of voice your opinion about things. And she was one that voiced her opinion, and it's good to hear it from a young player. It's good to hear it from a competitor. Like, a competitor doesn't like anything about Sunday. What happened? Not one thing. You know, you can draw some positives from it, but bottom line is, a competitor doesn't like to be in that situation where, we are as talented, right? Like, I've never been a part of a loss like that with as much talent, like ever. So that was a first for us. And she felt it, and she voiced it. And she's practicing like she didn't like it, and everybody else is practicing like they didn't like it. And hopefully, we won't ever see that type of performance again. Thank you.